What's up, everyone? Welcome back to WrestlePop. All right, guys, today Braun Strowman is getting a lot of heat from the internet community. And why is that? He said some interesting things about indie wrestlers and everything going on in the world today, thanks to the shutdown because of you know what.
So this is his response to an indie wrestler saying that you should support your favorite indie wrestlers in this trying time. He said, "Here we go with more of the somebody pay for my bills stuff. If you can't afford to pay your bills, maybe you should change professions. That's why I quit Strongman. I loved it, but I couldn't afford to live. So instead of making a GoFundMe or a Patreon, wanting someone else to take care of me, I went out and worked harder than I ever have in my life to get where I am. What happened to being accountable for your own actions?" Multiple question and exclamation marks.
Wow, talk about heat. You're going to get a lot of heat from the fans, man, for that comment right there. Because, like, where do we start with that? Because this is pretty, like, he's tone deaf.
It's very inflammatory to say that right now, I feel like.
Yeah, because, like, for example, in the late 90s, Daniel Bryan was actually at Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy. And it took him, like a decade to become a big star. And people said, hey, man, you're short. You know, you're not going to make it in the WWE. And he fought through all of this negative feedback, and he became a huge star, probably one of the biggest stars in the industry, right? And he became, like, let's just say, like, probably, like, multi-millionaire, right?
Oh,
I think
sure.
that it's safe to say that he found the love of his life. And should he have quit back then and just called it a day? No. And the other thing is, Braun, you know, like, he doesn't mention is that when he was doing the strongman competition, he was actually discovered by Mark Henry, right? So, like, Mark Henry saw this guy and said, you know what? Because he's really close to Vince. And he said, this is a guy that Vince would love. And said, hey, man, you ever thought about doing wrestling? You know, because you got the look that Vince loves, you know? So it's not like he just, like, worked his butt off and got where he is because of, like, you know.
He had a chance opportunity.
Yeah, just luck. And if you just quit wrestling in the indies and just go home, and because he says, you know, if he was in a similar situation, he would have just gone back and, like, worked at a tire shop back home where his parents live.
Now, here's the thing about that, though. That's all well and good if this was a normal day, you know? But the thing is, if this was right now, he couldn't just go back and work at a tire shop, because guess what? The tire shops aren't going to be open right now. Nobody is able to work unless you're in an essential industry right now. So, you know, I feel like he's not taking into account that it's not that they're not able to pay their bills because they're not working hard enough or whatever. A lot of people have been caught off guard by the complete shutdown of basically everything. I think that there's a lot more people that are struggling than just indie wrestlers, you know,
Well,
and he's
dude,
ignoring that whole fact.
WrestleMania is not going to be held in an arena full of people. They're making some changes. It's going to be a 2-day event.
Yep.
This is a very unique time that we're living through.
Yes.
So it's not like, you know, the indie wrestlers are being lazy or you know, this or that. The economy has come to a halt. And so Braun should be very sensitive to that, right?
Exactly. You know, and it's like, I mean, he's entitled to think what he thinks. I feel like, though, it probably would have just been best if he'd not said it.
Yeah, shut up and wrestle.
Exactly.
Shut up and wrestle.
Exactly. Like, he should be feeling lucky that he has the opportunity to still wrestle, you know, because other people aren't.
Here's the thing. He should take some of his money and donate to the indie wrestlers. It's all about, you know what, creating competition. So that way, if Vince ever decides to let him go, he's got a place to go work. And you know where that might be? Because AEW might not be hiring, my friend. And you know what? You might be just another indie wrestler. So you need to think about that, right? And because you need to be building up the indies. So that way, one day, because it will be, because when you're, like, in your 40s and if you still want to wrestle, you got a place to go. One thing also, guys, I want to mention, Coco Beware, who's a Hall of Famer, he actually needs a knee replacement, and he's asking for some money. And he's a really good guy. He's one of those guys that has given back to the industry, because not too long ago, he actually helped Kamala get a scooter. Because if you don't know, Kamala had his legs amputated, and he was in a wheelchair. So Coco actually helped him get a scooter. And on top of that, Coco had some issues with his wife who had cancer a few years ago. So he's a really good guy. And now he needs a knee replacement. He's asking people for money on GoFundMe. So if you guys are able to support him, definitely go do that. He's a really good guy. He was probably one of the wrestlers from back in the day that really, drew in a lot of fans, him and Frankie the Parrot. So if you guys are able to do that, definitely do that. And anyway, guys, that's the video. What do you guys think?
Do you think that his comments were, appropriate, or were they inappropriate for the time?
Yep. And we'd love to get your thoughts. And if you haven't done so already,
make sure to click that subscribe button, give us a like, click that notification bell, and share this video with all of your friends and family who love wrestling as much as you do. Bye!